markets requires discipline, strategy, and finely honed skills. Traders are up against the best and brightest Wall Street has to offer. At TraderInsight.com, you can look over the shoulder of one of America's top traders. Join Dr. Adrian Manz and a cast of highly talented traders as they earn their living navigating the markets, one stock at a time, one trade at a time. TraderInsight.com. Strategy, discipline, results.
For TraderInsight.com, this is Adrian Manz, and this is Stocks and Sectors on the Radar for Friday, December 5th, 2008. Well, late day selling whacked the market again. We had a 2.5% loss going into the close as traders became very, very worried about the jobs number coming out on Friday. AT&T announced a 4% cut in its workforce. That didn't help at all. And the number coming out tomorrow is probably the most eagerly anticipated thing I've seen in the last 11 months. The consensus on the street, 350,000 jobs. I think it could easily come in at 500,000 jobs. It's make or break time, and the more gloomy the news is, the harder the redemptions are going to be pushed. The bad news in all of this is if I wind up being right, we are at the bottom of the Dow box again. We didn't manage to bounce today. Tomorrow's move could definitely be sharply to the downside, which would mean a retest of lows. Add that to the fact that the GM testimony, GM, Ford, Chrysler on the Hill today had people convinced that the three guys leading those companies are basically just driving the automakers right off a cliff. So given that, and given the news yesterday that excited everyone in the market, boy, 4.5% mortgage rates, houses are going to be in terrific shape and everything, right? Well, if the automakers manage to screw this up as badly as it looks like they may screw it up, even with a 4.5% mortgage rate, no one's going to buy a house because no one's going to have a job. So that's been the weight on the market over the course of Thursday trading. Let's take a look at what happened. We had a close that was down 215.5 on the Dow at 83.76 1/4. We had similar moves in all the indices. Total volume on the NYSE today, 1.47 billion shares, a little bit lighter than it has been over the past couple days. The number that I like to watch, though, advancers versus decliners. 820 stocks advanced, 2,303 declined. So, not great news. We also had the S&P 500 performing just about the same as the Dow. This is just the same old news that's been going on over the past several sessions, right? NASDAQ 100, same deal. NASDAQ comp, same deal. All in all, the tech stocks did a little bit better today on a percentage basis than the Dow did, but nothing to get too excited about. The automobiles, of course, were in a nice formation, looking like there could be some upside momentum if Congress became convinced that it was time to help them out. Unfortunately, look what happened to the auto index. So, the VIX is just about where we expected it was going to be last week when we talked about it. Remember I said that it was starting to look to me like the VIX was gravitating to a new mean. And look what happened, right? We've got now an average that is much, much higher. So when we talk about the mean reversion tendency of the VIX, we're talking about reversion to a much higher mean. So hopefully, eventually, this thing is going to come back in and make a couple moves to the downside and get some of this volatility out of the market. For the time being, though, it makes for some very tradable entries, and it's definitely been a good market for traders all the way around. We saw the home builders on Thursday make the move we were talking about on Wednesday. We got these tests of the 50-period moving average on these things. Got a nice push higher on this sort of expectancy that things were going to be going better in the housing sector. As far as I'm concerned at this point, I'm going to start looking for these guys to turn around and head lower. I'm not looking for any additional upside on these. I'm now looking to see a retest of these lows. So in the case, for example, of Pulte, around $9.60. In the case of Lennar, I'll be looking for a pullback down to the $6.30 mark. And in the case of Centex, probably a move lower that tests the $8.50 or so level. So those are some interesting stocks to watch for Friday. Also going to keep an eye, of course, on General Motors, which looks like it's probably going to go down and break through that 20 period. And going to watch some of the the oils, since oil did manage to break down below $44 a barrel today. We're seeing some interesting activity in some of the oil stocks and the energy stocks. Going to watch Canadian Natural Resources for a move lower on Friday. Also going to watch Cabot Oil and Gas for additional downside on Friday. And where are we here? There we go. EOG Resources Incorporated. Also going to be watching that stock. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email. It's adrian@traderinsight.com. And careful on Friday. There's probably going to be a lot of volatility, but have a good trading day anyways.